Hi everybody, welcome to Fast Home Brew. Today I'm making my strong ale, which has become kind of a yearly thing for me, so this is the third one, and just a couple of minor adjustments from the last one, which I'll go through, but yeah, here I am filling up my thingo with the normal amount of starting water, which is 35 and a bit litres, and I'm using that jug because that looks a bit yucky inside the cube, so I'm going to get rid of that one. There she goes. And we'll head down to the hardware store to replace that. But in the meantime, I might as well get mashing, because doing, I think, what is called a reiterated mash today, which is like a 2 mash. So I'm starting with 9.7 kilos of grains, which will get me an OG of around 1.08. So basically I'm making 2 beers in one here. So what I've got is 74% ale, 10% Munich, 6% Toffee, 6% wheat, 2% chocolate, and 1% Caramunich. So that is going into it's getting wrapped up, and I will head down to the hardware store now while that first mash happens. So here we go, heading down the hill, down to the old Bunnings. There it is, Bunnings on the left, and I guess wait for some traffic. See if I can find a good park under here. Massive underground car park, and oh, looks like I got a drive-through park. So there's me and Jono. We're heading off to get a nice new cube from their water container section, which is actually their home brewing section. I keep telling them to fix the sign up, but anyway, we've got what we need, and we're off, and we'll head back home past a digger, which got Jonah very excited, and then heading up the hill for the last little bit. So. And here we are, home. Okay, so this is the first mash done, and that's about half. I asked the homebrew store nicely to split it in half for me, but not to be too fussy, just as long as everything's okay there. So roughly half of the grains that I said before, and now I'm bringing it back up to temperature for mash number 2. And it's kind of like hitting the reset button at this point. So I try to get back to the same starting volume and everything, so that means I need to do all my squeezing and stuff, which you've just seen there, and that looked like a pretty nice colour actually after the first one. I guess that's going to be twice as dark as that in a minute, but yep, back to number 2. Are we nearly up to temperature? Now we're up to temperature, so ready for bag number 2. Here it is. So the difference is this year I've got the same amount of base, although I did back the Munich off just a little bit, and I added some Caramunich in its place, and I'm also using a little bit less chocolate and Toffee malt instead of caramel. So yeah, I don't know, just small adjustments this time because I was so happy last year. Last year's was the honey one, if you remember. I entered it into the competition and it got a medal. I think it got 3rd, that one, so that was pretty good. But yeah, minor adjustments. I'm trying to lighten up the colour a bit. Now we wait for it to mash while Max has a yawn and a sniff in his box there. So that's another hour past, and we'll hoist this out. Whoop, up it goes into over the top, down, and then heat and water. There's the water, just rinsing, and now squeezing again. And there we go, that's the whole lot. So now I'm just fitting this thermometer so that I can see when it's getting close to boiling, just for my own planning. High plan, yeah. And actually now I'm eyeballing the level in there, and I think it's a little low, so I'm going to add a little bit. Cross my fingers that I got that right. Just seemed a little low. Anyway, Simcoe hops. These are going to be my bittering hops today. I think I chose Simcoe just because I had some, and I'm aiming for 53, 54 IBUs in total. So there's all my timers. There we go. Oh, pardon me. We're going to be doing a couple of late editions of Willamette, but not before yeast, nutrient, wellflock go in. Okay, here's some Willamette. Each of these is 25 grams, which is just a smidge short of 1 gram per litre. And yeah, 2 of those ready. So first one's going in with 5 minutes left in the boil. There it is. Then 5 minutes later, I turn the heat off. Whoop. And finally, we've got our minus 5 minute addition, which is 5 minutes after the boil, just to add a little bit of flavour, maybe a tiny bit of aroma, but Not so much that it's going to really be noticed, but whatever. There it is, looking all green. Okay, now I am sanitizing everything ahead of the transfer into the cube there. So that gets some Starsan on all of its surfaces. And here's my sample. And yeah, and draining into the cube. And that goes up, 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 up as Max runs around. Didn't pull the label off of my cube yet, but anyway, tip in a bit. And how did we go in the end for fullness? Not brimming, but not unfull. So that'll do. That looks like yeah, that looks like a good amount. Oh, mustn't have had a good seal there. Normally I try and squeeze it just until I see a drip like that, and then I pull it as tight as I can. Okay, so this is measured at 8, basically 1.08. It was hot there, but when it cooled down it was 1.08. So this is going into the shed because we have a surprise coming later, but not yet, but soon. But first, that is first we ferment. So into the fermenter this is going. So we're up in the shed again, and that's a nice clean fermenter. This is either 1 or 2 days later. That's as long as I like to leave it in the cube for. And now I just strain in. That hopefully helps aerate it a bit, plus catch any hot matter that I don't really want going into the final product. And lift it, bending at the knees, into the fridge with the heat belt, and then the temperature probe and everything goes in, so it's nice and temperature controlled. It's all by itself as well. And here's all the Nottingham. So all the Nottingham is going to go into this, using 3 packets because it's such high gravity, obviously. And a fairly, my batches are 27 litres, which is just a bit more. Oh, and lid clips. These little guys go on the lid to make sure that if it has an explosive krausen, it doesn't blast a hole in the roof. Yeah, that's what could happen. Alright, okay, here's the bit that I was alluding to earlier. That is a certain amount of honey. I'm going to have to remember how much and put it in the notes. It was either, I think it's 250 grams of honey, and this is going into this fermenter. What? My little fermenter. I am going to transfer about a little under half, I think, into the other one. Oh, and you can see the lid clips did their job. See the mess on the lid? So if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for the clips, the lid would have lifted and the yuck would have gone all over the place. But anyway, sorting out my hose here, beginning the nice, hopefully gentle, non-aerating, but probably slightly oxygenating transfer. And now that it is above the tap level, I'm just going to add the honey, and the swirling motion should mix that in nicely. So that's quite a lot of honey compared to last year. So the idea is that splitting the batch, and looks like I'm stopping at 12 litres there, splitting the batch partway, most of the way through fermentation, to just try them side by side and see which one I like, and see where I think sort of I always like to go like, both extremes and then sort of guess where in the middle it should be. So I would say this is an extreme amount of honey for this particular batch, but anyway, that's all done. We're all good. There's the thumb. So lots of strong ale, and if I'm half as happy with this one as I was with last year's, then this is going to be really good. So looking forward to trying this one. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and give your dog a pat.